Bright Beauty. Every student matters.
Hello children, welcome to the session. In this session children, we are going to discuss a few question and answers from the topics that we have covered so far. So children, the first question is how much water is available for use? So children, as we know 71% of the earth's surface is covered with water, but is all of the water which is there, is it available for our use? No children, all of the water which is available on the surface of earth mostly exists in the form of ocean. And so children, this water cannot be used for drinking purposes, neither for agricultural purposes. So the actual availability of water is very less, and it is approximately equal to 1% of the total water that is present on the earth. Okay. Let's move to the next question. When and why do we celebrate World Water Day? So children, World Water Day is celebrated on 22nd March. Is celebrated on 22nd March every year. And children, we celebrate World Water Day in order to create awareness among the people who do not take the water as an important resource, or who don't pay enough attention that how precious this resource is. Actually children, the availability of fresh water is very less, and that is why we need to conserve water, so that when we leave our earth, we leave enough water resources for our coming generations as well. And since it is very precious for us to survive, for plants to survive, we need to be very wise while using water. And in order to create awareness, we celebrate World Water Day every year on 22nd March. Okay. Let's move to the next question. What is the minimum amount of water recommended per person per day by the UN? So children, by UN, the amount of water recommended is 50 liters per person per day. Per person per day. So children, you can clearly identify if you are getting enough water supply or not, right? Because there are areas in the world which do not even where people do not even get 50 liters of water per person per day. They have to walk miles and miles just to get a few buckets of water. So children, when we are getting this water in abundance, we should be very careful and wise while using it. Okay. Let's move to the next question. Give an activity to understand the availability of water. This is a very interesting question, and we are going to conduct an activity wherein you will understand the actual distribution of water and the water which is available for us. Okay. So let's move ahead and see this diagram. So children, we are going to take a bucket of medium size and fill it up with water, and it will be approximately 20 liters of water, and we are going to assume it to be the total water that is present on the earth. So let's just read about it. Take a medium sized bucket and fill it up with water. It contains about 20 liters of water, and we have to assume that this water represents all the water which is present on earth. So just imagine this water which is in the bucket as the complete water which is available on the surface of earth. Okay. Now out of this bucket you will take out a mug full of water, but how you are going to take it out? You are going to take a teaspoon of maybe 5 ml, and you have to transfer around 100 spoons. You have to transfer about 100 spoons of water into a small mug. Okay. And this represents the fresh water on earth. So children, out of the complete bucket, it's just the 100 spoons of water which is available in the form of fresh water. Now can you realize the difference? We have water in abundance, but the one which is suitable for our use is only around 100 spoons. And out of this, now what you're going to do is you're going to transfer 30 teaspoons, the same spoon that you used earlier, to a glass of water. And children, this gives you the usable amount of water which is present in the form of groundwater. So the groundwater is approximately equal to this 30 spoons of water in a glass. Now you are going to take 1/4 teaspoon of water from this glass, children, and you will observe that we can relate it to the water which is there present in the usable form in forms of rivers or lakes in the world. So children, can you imagine the whole water which is there on the surface of earth is like a whole bucket full of water, whereas the water which is available in the form of usable water is only 1/4 teaspoon, right? So children, I really hope that you would have understood the availability of water on the surface of earth. Okay children? Whereas children, the whole water which is present in the form of which is present in mostly in the ocean is actually the saline water. It is salty in nature. Why? Because of presence of so many salts in it. Okay. So the question is, explain the different forms of water which exist on the earth. Okay children, and we are going to understand this with the help of a diagram. We are also going to understand the different phenomena that are there which helps the water to exist in different forms. Okay. So children, you know that water has three forms. Water has three forms which are solid, liquid and gas. You already know that. So children, but in atmosphere we consider this as water vapor which is present on the surface of earth. Okay. Liquid water which generally exists as surface water in the form of rivers, lakes, oceans, surface water, or as groundwater which is present in under the ground level. Okay. Groundwater is actually underground water. Also children, it may appear or it may come in the form of rainfall as well, and rainfall is also known as precipitation. Okay children? Then children, in the form of solid, it exists in the form of snow on the mountains. Now children, the simple answer to this question is water exists in three forms. First one is water as water vapor on this in earth's atmosphere. Then it exists in the form of liquid where it is found in the form of liquid on the surface water, underground water, and in the form of rainfall as well, and finally in the form of solid as ice caps or in the form of snow on the mountains. Okay. Now children, we are going to understand how do they exist on the surface of earth, what are the phenomena that helps them to exist in different forms. If this question is asked only as a 1 or 2 marker children, then you will have to write just these 3 points and you will be done. But if this question is asked as a 5 marker question, then you will have to give, and if the question also asks you to write about the phenomenon, if you are asked about the phenomenon or the processes by which water exists in different forms on the surface of earth, in that case you will have to explain this complete you have to explain it with this diagram. Okay. So children, the first one is first labeling mark is it is the groundwater. So what is groundwater children? So the water which is present below the ground is known as groundwater, or we also call it as underground water. So children, then second is this process is asked, what is this process wherein water is leaving from the surface water? So the process here is children evaporation. And children, this question is asked in your books in the form of jumbled words. So children, that question is also answered in the same question. So you can relate it to both the questions. Okay. So this question can be asked in different forms. So I am explaining you each possibility in which this question can be asked. Then children, the third process is formation of clouds, or when this water vapor which is evaporated, by the process of evaporation there is formation of clouds. So children, this process is known as condensation. Why children? What is the meaning of condensation? Condensation means when water vapor is cooled down, because when the water vapor has reached this level in the sky, the temperature is very low. and when the water vapor is cooled, it is converted into a liquid form, and the process is known as condensation. And this process of condensation results in the formation of what? Fourth is in the formation of clouds, right? Then again children, next we have 5, in which the water is leaving the surface of earth through trees or through the aerial parts of trees, and this process is known as transpiration, where water leaves the surface of earth through the aerial parts of the plants. Then we have 6th point, where water is seeping down the ground, and this seeping down of water below ground is known as infiltration. What it is known as? It is known as infiltration. Then children, 7th is this rainfall, and we have already discussed that rain is known as precipitation. Precipitation. Okay children, so if you are asked what are the processes that helps the water to exist in different forms, these are: first one is evaporation, wherein water from the surface water bodies like rivers, ocean is evaporated due to sunlight. Sunlight gives it heat. It takes heat energy from sunlight, and this water evaporates and reaches the atmosphere. Then children, the second process was condensation, where the water vapor reaches the level in the sky where the temperature is so low that it is cooled down to form liquid again, and this is known as condensation, right? Then children, precipitation occurs, that is the rainfall, due to which the water comes back to the surface of earth in the liquid form, right children? And if it falls in mountain areas where we have very cold temperatures, there will be snowfall, and water will exist in the solid form. Then children, we also discussed about infiltration, which just means the seeping down of water towards the groundwater. And what is groundwater? It is the water which exists below the ground level. And what is the water known as, which is in these water bodies like rivers and lakes? It is known as surface water, because it is present on the surface level, right children? So this was all about the forms of water and all the possible questions that can be asked from this part. Okay children, and I really hope that you would have understood the concept really well.